Long before Darth Bane or the Rule of Two, a single Jedi Master turned his back on the Order, stole an ancient holocron, and persuaded 50 Jedi to fall into darkness, sparking a 1,000-year war that brought galactic civilization to its knees. This is the Fourth Great Schism. Greetings, my fellow scruffy-looking Nerf Herders, and welcome back to the Infernal Brotherhood. Today we open the Holocron files to 2000 before the Battle of Yavin to chronicle one of the most devastating splits in the history of the Jedi Order, the Fourth Great Schism. By the year 2000 BBY, the Galactic Republic had enjoyed centuries of relative peace. The ancient Sith Empire was thought to have been wiped out long ago, and the galaxy firmly believed the dark side cult was extinct. But within the walls of the Jedi Temple, an esteemed, highly intelligent Umbaran Jedi Master named Phanius was developing a dangerous radical mindset. Phanius was obsessed with solipsism, a philosophy asserting that one's own mind, perception, and self-interest are the only things that truly exist in the universe. To Phanius, the self-sacrificing code of the Jedi was an oppressive leash. He viewed himself not merely as a servant of the Force, but as the center of existence itself. His doctrine was eventually summarized into what became known as the Creed of Ruin. There is no passion. There is solely obsession. There is no knowledge. There is solely conviction. There is no purpose. There is solely will. There is nothing. Only me. When the Jedi High Council condemned his arrogant ideology, Phanius voluntarily resigned, becoming one of the famed Lost 20, the small group of Jedi Masters who walked away from the Order over irreconcilable philosophical differences. Driven by resentment and a desire to prove his vision absolute, the former Jedi Master secretly infiltrated a Jedi archive to steal a rare Sith holocron. Plunging headfirst into forbidden dark side lore, he set off into the Outer Rim to see if any traces of the old dark side worshippers remained. Contrary to popular Jedi belief, the Sith weren't dead. They were fragmented. Scattered, isolated Sith clans had survived in hiding for centuries. Using his incredible charisma, political maneuvering, and dark side power, Phanius subverted these disparate clans, uniting them under his banner into a cohesive, dangerous force. Shedding the name Phanius, he declared himself Darth Ruin, the first Dark Lord of a revived order. Ruin then set his sight back on the Jedi Temple. Driven by a desire for vengeance, he reached back to his former peers through brilliant persuasion, seduction, and promises of unrestricted power. Darth Ruin convinced 50 active Jedi Masters and Knights to abandon the light, betray the Order, and swear allegiance to his new cause. This catastrophic mass defection formally ignited the Fourth Great Schism. With 50 fallen Jedi serving as his dark elite, alongside the newly unified Sith clans, Darth Ruin established the new Sith Empire. Immediately expanding their reach, Ruin's forces reclaimed ancient, sacred Sith homeworlds that had fallen out of galactic record, establishing major strongholds on the worlds like Ziost and Yavin 4. Together, the new Sith launched a ferocious galactic campaign against the Republic and the Jedi Order, officially beginning the New Sith Wars, a brutal, century-spanning era of devastation, planetary blockades, and dark side proliferation. Yet, despite orchestrating one of the most terrifying galactic comebacks in history, Darth Ruin's reign as Dark Lord was surprisingly brief, and his downfall came entirely from within. Because Ruin's entire philosophy dictated that only he truly existed in any meaningful way, he held his own followers in absolute contempt. To him, his acolytes, commanders, and even his personal squire, Erraticus, were literal non-entities. Ruin frequently threw away thousands of his own soldiers in reckless, pointless military strikes purely to test hypotheses or demonstrate his supreme authority. He sacrificed his Sith disciples on reckless whims without a second thought. Pushed to their absolute limit by his callous disregard, Ruin's closest Sith followers realized that their leader would happily march them all into extinction just to satisfy his own ego. Conspiring in secret, Ruin's own disciples ambushed and assassinated their Dark Lord in cold blood. Darth Ruin was dead, but the toxic culture of supreme ego and backstabbing he cultivated became the defining trait of the new Sith for the next 10 centuries. Without a clear heir or system of succession, the Sith Empire fractured into competing warlords. Over the next 1,000 years of the New Sith Wars, the shadowy Dark Underlord rallied the marauding Black Knights in Malrev IV. Sith Battle Lords scored crushing victories like the slaughter at the Battle of Mizra, converting hundreds of captured Jedi. Tyrants like Darth Riven created Dark Warrior ranks on Almus to stop internal betrayals, and Belia Darzu forged armies of cybernetic abominations called Metanecrons during the Sictus Wars. Yet every single one of these leaders was eventually undone by the exact same treachery that took down Darth Ruin. The Republic was dragged into a devastating Dark Age, but the Sith could never truly conquer the galaxy because they were constantly murdering each other for power. Ultimately, it was this exact millennium of dysfunction sparked by Darth Ruin during the Fourth Great Schism that drove Darth Bane in 1000 BBY to destroy the old Sith factions entirely at Ruusan and establish the rule of two, one to embody the power, the other to crave it. But that is all the time I have to talk about the Fourth Great Schism. What do you think of Master Phanius and his solipsistic Creed of Ruin? Would you have liked to see this era explored in a comic series or game? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you for joining us here at the Infernal Brotherhood of the Scruffy-Looking Nerf Herders. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Star Wars Legends, please like, share, and subscribe to help us continue uncovering the forgotten corners of galactic history. And if you'd like to support the channel even further, consider becoming a member or joining us on Patreon. Every credit helps us bring more lore from the archives to life. Thank you to my creator patrons Aaron Hardy and D. Robert Handy, producer patron David Galindo, developer patrons Chris Andro and Sam Ruiz, and all of the YouTube members. Until the Infernal Brotherhood convenes again, my fellow scruffy-looking Nerf Herders, may the Force be with you.